Hello, and welcome to More Together with School District 25, where each week we'll take a deeper dive into some of the issues, accomplishments, news, and current events happening around our school communities. This is a chance for listeners to get to know the school district and learn more about the educational issues you care about the most. I think it's really important before we get started to give a great big shout out and thank you to the Pocatello and Chubbuck community for renewing the supplemental levy and also retaining all 3 seated board members. I want to just read a statement from Dr. Howell. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, we want to share our gratitude with the Pocatello and Chubbuck communities for making your voices heard and voting in favor of renewing the supplemental levy and retaining our seated board members. Public education is an educational promise that we fulfill to our learners in partnership with parents, families, and the broader community. Parent engagement is one of the number 1 factors in determining a learner's success. We acknowledge, support, and encourage parents' input and advocacy for the best interests of their children. If the outcome of this process is a community that is deeper engaged in public education, that is a win for all of us, with the greatest potential impact for learners. School District 25 is a mission-driven organization where every decision is framed by our why, our learners. We must commit to continuing to work together to find solutions that will best help us fulfill that promise to those learners as we look to the future and move beyond the pandemic. Thank you, community, for reflecting back to us that we make the greatest impact when we make a commitment to think more, learn more, and be more together. So with that, I want to welcome Carri Thomason and say, Carri, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Courtney. I'm excited to talk about STEMUP.
I am so excited to talk about STEMUP with you. So before we dive into today's topic, let's first find out a little bit more about you. I think your title of instructional coordinator, instructional consultant is something that most parents and most community members might not know a whole lot about. So can you tell us a little bit more about what that means and what role you play for School District 25?
You bet. I have a really fun job. I get to work in all 13 elementary schools with teachers, mostly in their first 3 years of service, and I mentor them and help them learn about best practices in their classroom with their learners. And it's so much fun to see them grow over the 3 years and make progress and really become passionate about their profession.
Absolutely. So have you been in that role for a long period of time?
This is my 5th year, I think. And then before that, I was a classroom teacher at Jefferson, and I've taught kindergarten and 3rd grade and 4th grade and 5th grade and 6th grade once upon a time. And even I was the adjunct faculty at ISU for science pre-service teachers.
Wow, so you really bring that practical experience with you to this instructional consultant job, right?
Yes, lots and lots of experience and lots of opportunities for them to learn from my mistakes.
Well, and it's such a benefit to our teachers, which ultimately benefits our learners. So I think it's just such a wonderful role that you get to play with our district. So as you know, we recently launched the More Together with School District 25 in an effort to provide our community members with an opportunity to better acquaint themselves with some of the exciting things to look forward to across the school district. Something that we're all looking forward to right now is the STEMUP activity scheduled for Wednesday, March 17th. I think we're also excited about this event because it's been such a positive collaboration and an exciting event to look forward to in a really challenging year.
It has been a long year, and this event is so exciting. I can't believe it's not even a week away. We started planning in October, and it felt like such a long time.
It really did.
It really did. And then, here, what are we, like 6 days away from it? And I'm excited for our community, for our learners mostly, but just for our community, the collaboration and this opportunity to just kind of spend time with the kids and really have a good time learning and digging into some interesting science and engineering topics.
So let's talk about that a little bit. Can you help define what STEM means for our audience members who may not be familiar with that term?
Well, STEM is an acronym for science, technology, engineering, and math. But then what we're really talking about when we talk about STEM learning, if you ask 20 people, you're going to get 20 different responses. But in my mind, when I think about STEM learning, I think about any time we have the authentic integration of any of those 4 subjects. So when I need to explore a scientific idea and I have to understand I need to use some math to understand it more deeply, that's STEM.
Okay.
Or in the case of these kits, all of the kits, the students are discovering scientific ideas related to energy, but they're also practicing engineering design when they construct different apparatus to help them explore those energy ideas.
Okay, so STEM Up is all about STEM education. So tell us, what is the STEM Up program?
So the STEM Up program is a really great collaboration between the ISU College of Technology, Pocatello-Chubbuck School District, the Ed Foundation, and lots of industry partners and business partners all around the Pocatello-Chubbuck area. And really what it is an idea to engage elementary students and their families in developing a deeper understanding of a STEM topic, in this case energy, but then also seeing how does that learning that they're doing right now, where does that go later on in life? And so that's where the College of Technology comes in, and they can help the families discover what are the opportunities right here at our own Idaho State University that are connected to these things that they're learning right now. And then even better are the local industry partners that are applying, again, those same ideas, that same work with energy here in our own community. So the STEM Up part is starting at kindergarten all the way through until they're adults and in the field, the professional field. This one idea, there's a common thread all the way through. And the more we're engaged in that and the families understand, the more they can support their learners.
So tell us a little bit about how this wonderful idea came about.
Oh my goodness. So this idea came about, it's a COVID idea actually. College of Technology has traditionally hosted a STEM event at Holt Arena for elementary students where the College of Technology has all of their departments there representing them and what they're doing, and they interact with the learners. Well, we can't do that this year. And so Chris Guthrie from the College of Technology approached the school district, I think in late October, maybe early November, with the idea of, hey, what can we do? We want to keep this going forward and build this connection between the university and the learners. And it kind of grew from there.
It really did grow from there. It was this small, tiny little nugget of an idea that just kept growing and growing and growing. That's what happens when you get together with educators. Nothing stays small.
Yes, it's grown into what I hope is just going to be a great experience for our community.
So let's talk a little bit more specifically about that activity planned for Wednesday, March 17th, correct?
Wednesday, March 17th it's just the beginning. It's just the kickoff for it. And so that's the day where all of the elementary schools are hosting the drive-up event from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. So families will go to their neighborhood schools sometime between 4 and 6, and they'll be able to pick up a backpack for their learners. So there's 3 different kits that are available. So learners in kindergarten and first grade will have one kit, and it's focused on the sun's energy. Second and third grade students will pick up a different kit, and it's focused on magnetic energy. And fourth and fifth grade students will get a backpack kit. They're all backpacks. We'll get a kit that is really focusing on energy transfer, like how does energy, we're converting it from chemical form in a battery to motion. And so they're creating vehicles and using circuitry.
Wonderful. So this is designed for K through 5 learners attending School District 25 schools. They'll attend their neighborhood school, drive through, pick up their kits, and then what can they expect once they get home to actually do that activity with their families?
Well, when they get the kits, the fun thing about the kits is it has everything that they need to get started. It has all of the supplies. It comes with a list of all the supplies that are in the kits, because sometimes there's little tiny things like wheels and axles in there that are a little small to miss. So parents can dig around in there. They can know exactly what's in the kit. And then there's a little background information for families about the scientific idea that is being explored using those kits. And there are some directions about how to get started. But more importantly, the families also can find a link to www.isu.edu/STEMUP, where they can find even more information. So all of those resources that I just mentioned are available online there. But then they can also watch a video from ISU College of Technology faculty where they will explain even more about that science and get some ideas going for the learners and their families about how they might start constructing the materials in their kit, how they can explore the different ideas. And there even are videos from industry partners on that same website that can explain a little bit more about the connection to local jobs related to that same topic. So there's lots of ways to get inspired. My favorite part, Courtney, about these kits is they're not a one and done kit. I designed them specifically so you can put things together, explore the idea, take it all apart again, and have a whole different path that you can go down to explore again in a new and unique way. So that it's not a one and done. They can explore all spring break if they want.
And that's so important to have these things not just be one and done, but to have some carryover into other applications. Can you tell us a little bit more about the specific lessons and those kits?
So kindergarten and first grade kids are one of the standards that they address in I believe it's a first grade standard, is understanding how the sun's energy affects us here on Earth's surface. So we found UV beads. So they're these little tiny beads that react when they are exposed to UV light. And so kids can do all kinds of experiments with them to find out, well, does that UV light go through my window? Does it travel through water? And so they can measure that by placing the beads in different places and knowing if they change color. And we created this little chart where kids can come up with their own experiment ideas and some suggestions for them, but we also left room for some creativity where they can just test all kinds of things and explore using the beads and see what happens and just kind of start asking questions. That's the biggest thing about science is we need them to ask questions. And so what does it do? And I kind of was worried that maybe it wasn't exciting enough, but we gave them to some teachers the other day, and they had a great time with those beads. And what about putting them under the table? And does it work through my sunglasses? So it was pretty fun.
Well, and there's such an element of creativity to science. So creating little scientists, asking questions, and exploring that creativity is really important.
Oh, yes. The second and third grade kits are really, really fun, too. They might be my favorite. I don't know. I go back and forth. So third grade is the only grade level where magnets are a standard for learning in all of elementary school, which magnets are so much fun. And they are so intricately tied to understanding how energy works and our electricity. So they have a magnet kit. So one of the things, we have a warning on the outside, like, hey, there's magnets in these kits. We want everybody to be aware of that so they don't put the backpacks maybe on a laptop or a cell phone. We want them to be really careful with those because the magnets they don't always interact well with phones.
Right. So it does come with a little bit of a parental warning, right?
It does. Well, and we really want families to be involved with all of these kits. And so I wouldn't recommend that the kids explore on their own. It's just not as much fun as it is to do it with an adult, somebody in their family helping them think things through and really encouraging them along the way. But in the magnet kit, the kids are really exploring how do you move an object using a magnet without ever touching that object? So they're constructing all kinds of different things to move objects and never touch them. And so it's a bit of a magic show that they could try, but really we want them to understand what's going on with those magnetic force fields going around. Okay. And then in the fourth and fifth grade kit, they're looking at circuits, and they're building some circuits, and they have little battery kits with a 3-volt motor, and they can make a vehicle of some sort, but they're going to have to understand how a circuit works and the basics of that, and that information is provided in the kits.
Okay. Every single one of those lessons sounds like so much fun. It also sounds like it's a great way to engage parents. So tell us a little bit about what you anticipate families will experience by participating in this event, and why is getting parents involved such a strong focus for STEMUP?
Having family involvement in student learning and understanding the importance, especially of STEM ideas and STEM learning experiences, it really is important that we engage students in the elementary setting with these ideas because there's a lot of research out there that shows that students who leave elementary with a lack of confidence in STEM areas don't enter STEM careers. It's a significant amount of students that do that. There was some research that comes out of Florida State University, and they just talk about how learners and their families really need to be engaged in STEM careers. And the families, when they're aware of that, they can provide more opportunities for their learners. They can encourage them to take classes when they go to middle school, participate in a variety of different things in elementary, like STEM days. There's a lot of camps that our community offers during the summertime. So having the families understand that now and understand potential resources in our area is very important for our students' learning.
Right, and then carrying that on through middle school, and even I'm not even sure, this is fairly new to our district, but we now have a STEM designation on a high school diploma. That's pretty exciting.
That's right. So we want them to be excited about all kinds of things, including STEM education right from the get-go, and know that those possibilities really can impact them for a lifetime.
Okay, so you've touched on this a little bit, but so we're focusing on STEM education, but it's also designed to draw connections between hands-on activities and how those activities and those STEM concepts relate to STEM careers. Can you tell me a little bit more about that focus and why it's important to illustrate those pathways to STEM-related careers?
So often those STEM-related careers seem unattainable or something that we don't need to pay attention to with kids who are 6, 7, 8 years old. But the thinking, the critical thinking skills, the questioning skills, those are developed at such a young age, and they're necessary for STEM-related fields. And we have so many wonderful industry partners that have really helped raise that awareness through this program. We've partnered with Idaho National Laboratory. Jennifer Jackson is one of the speakers there, and she's talking to the students about how the work that, in those K-1 kits really connects to things that they're doing out at the site related to nuclear engineering or radiation technology. I mean, that's just such a strong connection there. And building that relationship between our elementary learners and our industry partners really helps the kids see that the meaning behind what they're doing, and that it is important learning. It's not just another task I have to do.
Right, and it has a real world application.
It does, and it helps the kids kind of start thinking about how the world around them works, and then asking questions and getting ideas and exploring those ideas, and that makes a really great learner.
Right. And it makes it meaningful for
does.
the learner as well. So I think you already probably answered this question, but is there anything you would add to this and why this particular program is focusing on elementary age learners at this time?
I think that I mentioned before that research from Florida State that STEM-focused education really supports creativity, questioning skills, problem-solving strategies, collaboration skills. I mean, these are the elements that we want as a foundation for our students early in their lives. If we wait until we think that they're really on a STEM track, maybe in high school, a lot of those great habits of mind have not been laid yet. And so we want to start early with that. But also multiple studies show that students entering middle school, especially girls or students who are from disadvantaged populations, they tend, if they're not previously engaged in STEM learning in elementary, then they tend to avoid those classes in middle school. And once they avoid them in middle school, then it's very, very hard to get back into a STEM career from that point forward. So it really does matter in elementary.
Oh, that's so interesting. Okay, so we know how much work that you've been putting into this, and we appreciate you so much. Pulling off this event, or an event like this, is the work of many hands and resources. Can you tell us a little bit about the sponsors for the program?
Oh my goodness, there have been so many people that have helped pull together this event. So first of all, we've worked very closely with ISU College of Technology. Chris Guthrie was the brains behind this. She was the brainchild behind this idea. And so we've spent a lot of time working with them, and it's ISU College of Technology faculty that created all of the instructional videos for the learners. And then, of course, we have the District 25 Education Foundation, which really helped make all these great kits possible. We were able to make the kits really full, well-rounded kits. Idaho National Laboratory was the inspiration behind the K-1 kits, a lesson that they provide theirs through their program is used with the K-1 program here. We kind of modified it a little bit, but they have been wonderful sponsors of this event. The United Way has helped us with printing. Lookout Credit Union made some really amazing T-shirts to get everybody excited.
I can't wait because the community will see everybody, every K through 5 instructor, food service worker, all staff over at the district office. We're all going to be wearing those STEMUP T-shirts that Lookout Credit Union sponsored for us.
It's such a great way to highlight the importance of this work for our learners, this awareness that we're bringing to the elementary students and their families about how important it is to begin STEM learning early in their lives. And so for all of these sponsors, and we had so many local restaurants contribute coupons for the kids just to make their kits even more fun. Think places like the Soda Barn and Papa John's and Butterburs and Mackenzie River, Jamba Juice, Pizza Pie Cafe, Tasty Treat even gave us free ice cream cones. So I think those coupons will be passed out at the drive-through event, and so they can go right on and get their ice cream.
And I think McDonald's also was our partner.
McDonald's, Little Caesars, the list is so long. Our community has been amazing.
We really do have tremendous educational partners in School District 25. We are certainly blessed with that. And one of them, so in addition to my role as communications for the school district, I'm also the director of School District 25 Education Foundation. So when this opportunity came up, I immediately thought, how can I get that foundation involved? Number one, it's really exciting, but it's also a program. We have nearly 5,200 elementary learners in K through 5. And so the impact of this event is tremendous. And I know that the other program sponsors are equally excited by the direct impact they'll have on learners district-wide.
Oh, it's so exciting to think about, spring break. A lot of times people are traveling, and this year maybe not so much. And so I just keep thinking about the conversations that are being had, will be had in the houses all across our community. And all of these community sponsors are part of making those conversations happen. It was everybody has a little piece and a little part to really say, hey, families and learners, we are so excited about STEM Up, and we want to present you with us, and we're excited to see what you do.
Absolutely. We could not do this without those sponsors, and it really is us living our district mission to be more together.
Absolutely.
So what happens if a learner and their family are unable to attend the event?
One of the big concerns across the country about STEM education is about equality and making sure that all students have equal access. And that was really important to our team as we started to work through and think about STEM Up. So we wanted to make sure that every learner, whether they could come to the drive-through event or not, has access to the backpacks. So that's why the drive-through event is planned for a Wednesday before spring break.
Okay.
So students, we want everybody to come to the drive-through because who knows what those schools will do. They have so many great things planned. I hear about music and balloons and possibly some dancing. I don't know. So I'm excited to see what they do. But if a learner is unable to attend, when they come to school, either Thursday or Friday, they will receive a backpack. So we gave a little bit of room to get things out to everybody before spring break.
Okay, so no one will miss out on this educational opportunity.
No one will miss out.
And that's really important to us. So you touched on this earlier, but when we're developing events like this, we often try to avoid activities that we like to call them one and done. Can you explain how we are addressing this event so that it's something that has some staying power?
Well, absolutely. So the kits are intentionally, like I mentioned before, they're designed to not be one and done. They're designed to put together, explore, take apart, try something new, get a new idea. So hopefully over spring break, kids will really explore a lot of different ideas using the materials in the kits. But we didn't want to stop there. We really wanted our teachers to be engaged beyond helping us pass things out at the drive-up event. So the teachers we've worked together to collaborate and identify related lessons, just a little bit different because we want to build on the students' experiences, and hopefully they come with wide and varied experiences so that they can share those in the classroom. And so on April 2nd, we will have a district-wide STEM Up Day at every elementary building, and all of those students will participate in a lesson or a couple of lessons in their classrooms on the same standard. And I'm really excited about what I'm starting to hear. I was at a school just the other day, and the teachers, there were 3 teachers, and they said, well, we're each identifying a lesson and then they are going to become experts in those lessons, and all 3 of their classes will rotate through all 3 of their lessons. So their STEM Up Day is actually going to take place over 2 days.
Oh, that is so wonderful. And that also gives us as a district another opportunity to wear those awesome shirts from Lookout Credit Union, right?
Well, and that's a day, I haven't mentioned this before, but when the students are working with their kits and when they go to that website, www.isu.edu/STEMUP, we're encouraging families to reflect on their experience. We always want feedback because we'd love to try this again and make it even better. And so fill out a form, and that would enter them into a drawing for a drone. And there's going to be a drone given away at every building on April 2nd on our STEM Up Day.
Wow, that's so awesome. And that's also sponsored by ISU College of Technology, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so how do listeners find out more about STEM Up? You've mentioned this before. They can go to isu.edu/STEMUP. Also, what can people expect driving up? Will they get out of their cars? Will they park? Can you tell us a little bit about what families will expect on that day?
Well, I think on the drive-through day next Wednesday, looks like the weather's going to hold out for us, so I'm pretty excited about that. Fingers crossed. It's a little early to just get too excited, but it looks good so far. It's going to be a little bit different at every elementary school. So families will go to their neighborhood elementary school, and it's a little bit different because all of their parking lots are a little bit different.
Set up a little bit differently.
But the idea is for it to be truly a drive-through event, and so they should be able to drive through. All of the backpacks are color-coded by the grade band, and so they would just say, hey, I have a learner in this grade, and teachers will know exactly which backpack to give them, and then off they can go, and they can see what's going on, though, at the schools. Like I said earlier, I think I've heard about music and balloons and decorations, and there's some pretty creative ideas going on out there.
Right. I think we'll have some surprise visits from some of our sponsors as well. So,
ooh, I think that'll be pretty fun. I'll be there. I know. I'm kind of trying to plan a route to see where I can go and maybe take a few pictures and see what's going on.
It's going to be a really festive day, so we're really excited. Okay, let's switch gears. I do this every podcast, and so I can almost guess what some of your answers will be related to. But I ask these 3 questions of every guest, and because they provide some insight into the personality and passion behind the people who are behind the scenes in School District 25. I think it's so important for our community to get to know the minds that are influencing our learners day in and day out. So I want to know, Carri, what is the last book you read? What are you reading now? And what's up next in your to-be-read pile?
Well, I have a little bit of a wandering spirit. So the last book I read was a travel guide to Curacao, because when we're all safe to travel again, that's my destination of choice. So I need to go to Curacao. So I've just finished reading a pretty recent travel guide there, and I'm excited about that. Now I'm currently reading a book by Armando Lucas Correa called The German Girl, and it takes place in 1940 Germany and Cuba, of all places.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a really interesting book. I'm excited to finish it. And I'm kind of on a World War II era kick right now. So the follow-up book is The Berlin Girl by Mandy Robotham.
Oh, I've heard about that one.
Yeah.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, I have some good friends that kind of keep me well-stocked in books.
And I don't know much about Curacao, but I've seen pictures and it looks beautiful. It looks like heaven.
Sunny and 85.
Well, I hope you get there soon. Okay, so you've been listening to More Together with School District 25 with today's guest, Carri Thomason. To recap, we've been discussing the STEMUP program scheduled on Wednesday, March 17th. That's next Wednesday, to introduce K-5 learners and their families to STEM education and STEM-related careers. We want to give one more shout out to our STEMUP sponsors that include ISU College of Technology, School District 25 Education Foundation, Idaho National Laboratories, United Way of Southeastern Idaho, and Lookout Credit Union. Carri, thank you so much for working so hard on this program and delivering it to our learners and their families. It's right around the corner, and I just hope everybody's as excited as you and I and some of our team are about this event next week.
I am so excited to see what the kids do with this. That's what I'm mostly looking forward to, is just seeing what they create. They're so amazing.
Absolutely. So thank you for joining me and sharing all about STEM Up.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to today's podcast. Our mission at School District 25 is to think more, learn more, and be more together. If you enjoy this podcast, remember, check us out every Friday with a new episode available on our YouTube channel. And if you have an issue you'd like to hear more about, send your ideas or questions to communications@sd25.us.